Yo, what's up everybody? It's Manga Mike here and I'm back with yet another review video. So in today's review, I'm just going to be going over the XP Pen 22R Pro again. I got a recommendation in the comments to do another review, an updated review of this tablet. So that's what I'm going to do. And it's been about a year since I've had it, so I think it's a good time. So thank you for that recommendation. So I'm going to have this video be like me in the bottom corner as you're kind of watching me draw a little bit on here, so I hope that's an okay way for me to do it. I just didn't want you to be bored just looking at my head the whole time. So I'm going to go over the quality of the overall tablet, the drawing experience that I've had, the colors, the value for cost, my personal opinion, and I'm going to give you an overall grade. So let's just kick it right off. So the quality. I actually think that the quality of this tablet overall is really good. The express keys are great. The pen in your hand feels fantastic. The drawing space is phenomenal. And to be honest with you, I really liked using this tablet for the whole year that I've had it. The stand itself is also fantastic. It gives you a whole bunch of different angles that you can use and stuff like that, and it's super easy to use. You just kind of click it and it goes, and it's already on the tablet once you get it, so you don't have to worry about installation or anything like that. And obviously, with that being said, it comes with the tablet. So there are a couple of cons. The first one is that the screen itself isn't etched glass or glass, so it's really susceptible to scratching, even though it says on the site that it's not. It really is. And then the resolution is a bit of a problem. It is full HD, but I have noticed, like, once you get in, obviously depending on your canvas size, once you zoom in to about 150% or more, which, you know, it's debatable as to whether or not you should even be doing that, it does get pretty pixelated. And like I said, while that might not be a huge problem, it is a little problematic when you want to go in and clean up some finer details before you maybe sell it to a client or something like that, or post it on social media. So that is a little bit of the small cons, I would say, for this particular tablet. But my overall grade for it is still an 8 out of 10. I think that it's a fantastic, like, working piece of technology. I haven't had any problems with it as far as malfunctions or anything like that. I have seen in some of my comments and other videos people having various problems, but you should definitely be sure to reach out if it's under warranty and things like that to get this thing replaced, because it's not my experience, at least. So this is where I'm going to be a little bit harsher, which is the drawing experience. So this is, I think, a huge change from my first month to, month 12 of using this tablet. I have it started to really notice as I'm drawing on it. There is a slight lag. The parallax is a problem at times, even with the calibration. The screen, even with a protector on it, is pretty slick to draw on overall. I do think that I wish that the pen, that they would give like felt tips for the pen ends, just because that would dramatically boost the drawing experience, I think. And this is the biggest problem. I felt often, and I don't know if it was a result of all the stuff I just said or if there's a different problem, I did feel often that it wasn't quite precise enough when I was trying to draw. And there would be times where I'm drawing lines over and over again, and I wasn't sure if it was because of my own arm motion or because of the screen itself. But like, after using other technology, I would have to say it's the screen itself. So that is a little problematic. So my overall grade in this particular field is a 6.5 out of 10. I definitely think that there's a lot of other tablets out there that's going to give you a much better drawing experience than this particular one. And that's not to say it's bad. It's not bad. It leaves a little bit left to be desired, I should say. So the next thing is the colors, and I'm going to give it 2 grades. I'm going to give it out of the box and after calibration. So out of the box, colors are really bad, actually. So I remember somebody in my month 1 review, I think it was either my month 1 review or my first review, kind of talked about the importance of calibrating your screen, because you shouldn't just trust a monitor right out of the box, and they were very right. This is especially true if you want to go into professional art. and that is because if your art, I mean, if your art colors don't match up to what's being printed, then you have a gap as to whether or not you're going to be able to depict things accurately, or there's like a gap between what you're depicting and what's actually being shown, and that's problematic as well. So I'm going to attach like a picture of the screen's colors post calibration, because I do have to calibrate it today anyways, and I hope that it shows really well for you. But if you can't really see it, there's probably about 15 to 20% of the colors on the wheel that you just don't really see. Anything that's like a lighter color, it just doesn't show up on the screen before calibration. And the other thing is that the screen itself is a little cold overall, so you're going to end up doing darker colors than you probably should, and then they're going to be a little warmer than you might anticipate, because you're going to be kind of going into a warmer zone as you're drawing to make up for the coldness that you're seeing. So those two things are pretty problematic. It was such a huge change after I calibrated the screen, actually, that I had to look it up to see if it was the calibrator was working correctly, because of how warm the screen looked as I calibrated it. So do keep that in mind. So out of the box, I would say it's probably a 5 out of 10. It's not good. It just isn't good at all. I mean, really, it should probably be a 4 out of 10, because it's probably below average, because 5 out of 10 is kind of average, right? But after calibration, you're probably at like an 8 or 9 out of 10, just because it does have the capacity to show a good portion of the range. It doesn't show the full range if you look at the specs. So, you know, it's a little bit harsh, but it comes with the caveat of you can just get a calibrator, and calibrators don't go bad, so it's going to be helpful for you regardless. So that is the colors. So let's go into the value for cost. So today, actually, and this is in the US, it's actually on sale because of Memorial Day. And so it's $530.22, just so y'all know. And that is, the price is at $480 basically. It's typically at $600. So I would say if you're thinking about buying this tablet and you want to be a professional, you're probably going to have to add on the cost of a calibrator, which is about $150. So it's going to push you to probably about $750. And then if you want a screen protector that is different than the one they ship in, which they say on their site that they ship one with it, I didn't have that experience. The one that they shipped out had letters and writing on it, so it's not really usable, at least in my experience, unless I did it wrong, I don't know. So I would assume that if you're going to do that, you might end up spending between $20 and $50 more. So you're looking at a range of $750 to $800 for a tablet that's pretty decent. I mean, it has its pitfalls, but it is decent. So I'm going to give that like a 7 out of 10 as far as the value for the cost. And I'm going to go into now my personal opinion and whether or not I think that you should purchase this particular tablet. And that is going to start with a short story. So I did recently get diagnosed with ADHD. I have a video on that if you want to see like how I've kind of coped with that as an artist. But the reason why I bring that up is because I noticed that sitting at my desk and trying to do work was really difficult. Doing it day after day, I was getting really bored. So it was harder for me to start, which means it was harder for me to get meaningful work done. So I ended up buying myself an iPad Pro, thinking like, hey, like some days maybe I can go and work in the living room or go work somewhere else in the house and be able to kind of combat that feeling of exhaustion by having another device I can draw on. Well, what ended up happening was I actually enjoy the iPad better than this particular tablet for a few reasons, and it was actually to my shock because I actually really enjoyed this tablet, if you can, you know, go back to my other reviews. The reason for that is because I think that when I first bought this tablet, I kind of undervalued the reviews that I was seeing about the overall drawing experience, and that is so important. So when you're drawing, like I was talking about earlier, the parallax and things become more noticeable when you draw on this tablet versus a tablet that doesn't have parallax because it's laminated, which would be the iPad, right? The iPad feels like I'm putting it down on the iPad itself and I'm drawing, and the line is exactly what I want it to be, versus this one, it's a little bit offset sometimes. No matter how many times you calibrate it, it's not 100% perfect. And then if you get a little closer with your face, it's even more offset. So those things definitely impact your ability to draw. The other thing that was really shocking to me is the fact that the iPad size doesn't bother me as much as I thought it would. And that's saying something, because I'm going from a screen that's almost like twice the size. So all of that is to say, I think that I would, even though I like this tablet, the 22R Pro, I think I would recommend a different tablet for probably the cost that you would be shelling out. So for $700 or $600, if it's not on sale, you can go out and buy a 16-inch display that is QHD or 4K that's around that price range, and it's going to last you longer. It's probably, you'll have one that is etched glass more than likely, that's laminated, that probably has better color capabilities even after using a calibrator. And it's going to end up feeling better as you draw on it, which is the most important thing, right? And you, like I said, you can spend the exact same amount of money for that kind of technology and end up having it last longer for you. This tablet is fantastic 2 years ago, because 2 years ago the technology for the calibration was still on par with a lot of the other tablets that were coming out. But as those tablets, or as those developers started creating these tablets that have this lamination and really great drawing experience overall, this tablet is going to be phased out, and you're going to see that in the professional atmosphere as well. Now, while it doesn't necessarily matter what technology you have, when you go from something that is super precise to going to something that isn't, you notice it, even if it's just a small change. So that is what I would recommend for you. If the real estate overall isn't such a huge deal for you, I would recommend I think they're technically 15.6 inch, but I just call them 16-inch displays that have the QHD or the 4K and the etched screen glass with the lamination. That's going to feel better as you're drawing on it, and you're going to get a little more out of those tablets. So overall, again, I'm still going to give this tablet, I still love it, I'm still going to use it myself. I'm still going to give it a 7 out of 10. I think that, or maybe a 6.5 to 7 out of 10. I think that it's overall decent. And if you can catch it on sale, I think I caught it on sale as well, you're going to really get some bang for your buck because of the size, the express keys, and some of the things that you might not be able to have on the tablet that I was just talking about, like a 16-inch display, right? You're going to have to buy a express key controller, more than likely, if you don't want to use your keyboard, and that's going to run you a little bit more money, even with the longer lasting impact it'll have on your work. It might still be worth it just to have one that has the express key display already on it. But yeah, I do hope that this review was helpful for you. Like I said, I know that it's probably felt a little harsh on this tablet, but I still enjoyed it, so it's not like a complete bust or anything like that. But there are some things that you want to think about as you're thinking about purchasing this particular device. Alrighty, I'm on the mic.